I was still bleeding after my emergency delivery when my husband handed me divorce papers. He said, "You and that little girl are a dead end to me." Then, he flew to Europe with his assistant. 8 years later, he walked into my office, demanding to meet his daughter, but when he learned who my daughter was, his face went white. My ex-husband walked into my office reception at 9:10 on a Tuesday morning in September and told the receptionist he was here to meet his daughter. He had not seen me in 8 years. He did not know I had remarried. He did not know my daughter's last name. He was standing in the lobby of Meridian Mutual Insurance in Kettering, Ohio, wearing a suit that cost more than my first car. With a woman on his phone screen he had married 6 months after leaving me in a hospital bed 16 hours into an emergency C-section. Kim buzzed my office. I picked up the phone. "Louisa Reed Astor is at the desk. He is asking to see you. He says he has come to meet his daughter." I said, quietly, "Send him up. Give me 4 minutes." Kim made a small sound on the line. It was almost a laugh, but not quite. It was the sound of a woman who had been holding a laugh for 8 years and had finally been given the moment to spend it. 4 minutes. Yes, I'll bring him coffee. I hung up. I sat at my desk. My hand was steady. I looked at the small softball trophy on the corner of my desk, engraved Elsie Bell Whitmore. First base, Kettering Girls' Softball 2024. I did not move it. Welcome back to Calm Life Stories. I'm Louisa Bell. 34, Senior Claims Investigator at Meridian Mutual in Kettering, Ohio, Certified Fraud Examiner. Specialty: Beneficiary Designation Fraud and Undisclosed Heir Claims. On Tuesday morning, September 23rd, my ex-husband Reed Astor walked into my building demanding to meet a daughter he had signed away in 11 places on November 4th of 2017 in a courthouse hallway while arguing with the woman he had left me for on his phone. Drop a comment where you are watching from and hit subscribe. Because a Tuesday morning story that starts with an ex-husband at your workplace needs witnesses, and I want you to be one of them. Let me take you back. Not to Tuesday. To the hospital room, 8 years ago. I was 26. I was on a gurney at Kettering General, 16 hours into labor. My blood pressure had dropped at hour 11. The obstetrician had called for an emergency C-section at hour 14. My daughter Elsie was delivered at 4:47 a.m. On September 24th, weighing 5 pounds 9 ounces, with a full head of dark hair, screaming at 5:38 a.m., while I was being sutured, my husband Reed walked into the recovery room in the same suit he had worn to work the day before. He had a manila folder in one hand and a Cartier bag in the other. The Cartier bag was not for me. Behind him, in the hallway, a woman I had not met stood with her hand on the doorframe. She was wearing a cream trench coat and holding his phone. Her name was Reese. Reed did not sit down. He set the manila folder on the bedside tray next to my ice water. He did not look at Elsie in the bassinet next to my bed. "Louisa, I have this drawn up. My attorney says the cleanest path is if you sign it before you leave the hospital. You will keep the daughter. I will keep the assets. My firm is transferring me to London. Reese is coming with me. We fly Thursday." There was a nurse in the room. She was drawing blood from my left arm. She was 32 years old. Her name was Deirdre Vance. She did not stop drawing blood. She looked at Reed. She looked at me. She looked at Reed again. Her hand was steady. Reed opened the folder. He put a pen on the top of the folder. He said the sentence that has been the sentence of my life for 8 years. "You and that little girl are a dead end to me." He did not raise his voice. He said it the way a man closes an account. Deirdre Vance finished drawing my blood. She capped the vial. She labeled it. That afternoon, off her shift, she walked to the risk management office on the third floor of Kettering General and filed a written incident report describing a hostile spousal visitor in the maternity ward and the verbatim statement he had made in front of a post-surgical patient. The incident report is standard practice for behavior of that kind. Kettering General has a file. That file was subpoenaed by my attorney, Nate Halberg, 3 years later during the 2020 Ohio Family Court review of Elsie's pre-adoption case, in which the biological father's prior conduct was a matter the court was required to consider. Ohio Revised Code 3107.06. The report has been in Nate's file since May of 2020, and a certified copy has been in my Navy binder at Meridian Mutual since June of that year. I did not sign the packet that morning. I did not sign it that afternoon. Aunt Susan drove me home 4 days later to my father's house in Springfield. I met my grandmother Hazel Bell at my parents' kitchen table. Hazel was 88 years old and dying of pancreatic cancer she had not told anyone about. She looked at the packet. She looked at my daughter. She said one sentence I have carried for 8 years. "Louisa, sign the packet. Get his name off my great-granddaughter. I have the rest handled." I signed the initial dissolution paperwork at my father's kitchen table on the morning of my daughter's 5th day of life. Aunt Susan witnessed. That was the uncontested filing under Ohio Revised Code 3105.61. It did not include custody terms or the parental rights waiver. Those were negotiated over the following year with Nate and drafted for signing at a final decree hearing scheduled for November of 2017. My father Marlon had not come home from work the day I signed. He could not look me in the face. He had introduced Reed to me at a Cleveland Browns tailgate in October of 2015. He had taken a selfie of the three of us at the tailgate. He had made it his phone wallpaper the week we got engaged. He kept it on the wallpaper for 11 months after Reed left. Then he framed it. He put it on the mantle in his living room in Springfield. It has been there for 8 years. I want you to sit with that image, because it will matter Wednesday morning. Reed flew to London that Thursday. He and Reese moved to a flat in Chelsea. They lasted 11 months. They came back to Cleveland in October of 2016. Reed never worked in the London office. Reese never asked me why. Reed signed the final divorce decree on November 4th of 2017 at the Montgomery County Courthouse in Kettering. Nate represented me. Reed represented himself with his attorney present. Reed signed a full termination of parental rights waiver in 11 separate places while arguing with Reese on his cell phone about a restaurant reservation in Paris. Reed does not remember signing it. His signature is on all 11 acknowledgments. Nate's paralegal Gail took a photograph of Reed signing each acknowledgement, time-stamped. As a matter of professional protocol for high-conflict divorces, those photographs are in the binder. Hazel filmed her estate declaration on October 12th of 2015 at her attorney Miles Landholt's office in Cleveland. The video is 47 seconds long. In it, she names Louisa Bell's biological children who share the Bell name at the time of my death or subsequent thereto by legal adoption or restoration as recipients of a specific purpose distribution from a family trust her husband, my grandfather, had built over 60 years selling farm insurance across northern Ohio. Hazel signed. Miles witnessed. Hazel died in April of 2016. 6 months later. The tape has been in Miles Landholt's vault since October 12, 2015. Nobody has seen it since the day it was filmed except Miles, and in October of 2020, a court-appointed trust officer named Priscilla asked. Stay with me, because the woman I became between the hospital and the office was not the woman Reed thought he was coming back to see. Between 2017 and 2019, I lived in a studio apartment above a florist on Wilbur Avenue in Kettering, with a daughter who did not sleep through the night. I took a claims job at Meridian Mutual because it was the only place that would hire a woman with a 2-year-old and no work history. I passed my fraud examiner certification in the evenings while Elsie slept. My salary in 2018 was $37,000. In August of 2019, I met Ford Whitmore at a Kettering girls' softball fundraiser at the county fairground. He was 43 years old. He had been appointed to complete a retiring judge's term on the Montgomery County Juvenile Bench that spring, and had won his own election the following fall. He was at the fundraiser because his niece played third base. He asked me if the girl on my hip was mine. I said yes. He asked me if she liked baseball. I said she liked to eat dirt. He laughed. He asked me to coffee. We married in June of 2020 at the Kettering courthouse in a small ceremony my father attended for the first time in 4 years. Ford legally adopted Elsie in October of 2020 in a Greene County family court proceeding, filed there because of Ford's own judicial position in Montgomery County, which would have created a conflict. The Greene County judge presiding had no professional connection to Ford. Elsie's amended birth certificate was issued on October 22, listing Ford Whitmore as her father. Her legal name became Elsie Bell Whitmore. The activation clause on Hazel's trust triggered on October 22, 2020, at 3:14 p.m. The moment the amended birth certificate was filed with the Greene County Recorder's Office and registered in Montgomery County. I did not know the clause had triggered until the following spring, when Miles Landholt's successor firm mailed me a distribution notice on Meridian Mutual letterhead, which I opened at my own desk on a Tuesday morning in April of 2021. The first distribution was $38,000. The second came in October of 2023. The third came in October of 2024. The next one would come in October of the current year, 3 weeks away, when Reed walked into my office lobby on the 23rd of September. Reed did not know about any of it. He was about to find out. The certified letter arrived on Friday, September 19th, at my Meridian Mutual desk in an envelope from a Cleveland law firm I had not heard of in 8 years, Astor Holloway Klein. Signature required. Extra 50 cents to make sure I signed for it. The letter was 3 paragraphs. It was a formal notice of intent on behalf of Mr. Reed Astor to seek a court-ordered reintroduction to the minor child Elsie Astor, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 3109 Pont and Weven, which governs companionship rights. I read the letter 3 times. The child's name in the letter was wrong. Reed's attorney did not know Elsie had been adopted. Reed had not told his attorney. I called Nate Halberg at his office across the street. Louisa Watt, Reed's attorney, sent a 310911 notice. He's coming. Come across the street. Right now. Bring the letter. I walked across Wilbur Avenue in a light rain. Nate's office is a small 3-room storefront next to a shoe repair. His paralegal Gail set a cup of coffee in front of me before I sat down. Nate read the letter. Then again. Then, he looked at Gail. Gail, pull the 2017 signature acknowledgments, pull the notarization log, pull the paralegal's photographs, pull the November 4th timeline, pull the Deirdre Vance incident report, pull the Hazel Bell video and the October 2020 activation notice. Everything goes in the binder. Gail nodded. Nate looked at me. Louisa, his attorney, does not know about the waiver. Reed has been telling him a version of the story that leaves out November 4th, 2017, or Reed has forgotten what he signed. Or Reed thinks the waiver has expired. It has not. This letter is a bluff. He is planning to leverage a settlement, not litigate. Why now? Because a cousin of Reese's who works in Cleveland private equity mentioned at a party in July that a Bell family trust had made an unusual distribution in 2020. Reed did the math. He hired a store Holloway Klein in August. The letter came September. He is expecting money. Nate, I need him in my office. Not a courtroom, not through you, in my office. Nate looked at me for a long moment. Louisa, that is a bad idea. That is my idea. He may bring his mother. I know. He may bring his attorney. He will not. His attorney is in Cleveland. Reed does not want a witness for this meeting. Nate closed the folder. Fine. I will be in Gail's office across the hall from your reception desk from 8:30 Tuesday morning with the binder. Kim will buzz me when he arrives. I will walk into your office when Kim brings the coffee. Give me a signal. What is the signal? Kim brings the mug. You walk in behind her. Nate said, Louisa, bring Ford in too. Judicial presence changes the room. Ford will be at his own courthouse Tuesday morning. He has a docket. I do not want him in this. This is my meeting. Louisa, Nate, this is mine. Nate nodded. He did not argue. If you have ever been the woman handed papers in a hospital bed, comment "not your daughter" below and hit subscribe. Because Saturday morning I told Elsie something I had not told her in 8 years, and I want you to hear it in order. I spent Saturday morning at the kitchen table with Elsie and Ford. Elsie is 8 years old. She reads at a 6th grade level. She plays first base on the Kettering girls softball team. She has Ford's laugh, my father's stubborn chin, and my grandmother Hazel's eyes. I told her that the man who had been my husband when she was born was coming to my office on Tuesday morning. I told her that man was not her father. I told her Ford was her father. She already knew this. She had known this since she was 5 years old, and I had sat her down at the same kitchen table and told her the whole story in the version an 8-year-old could hold. Elsie looked at me. She looked at Ford. She looked at her cereal. Mom, do I have to meet him? No, Elsie, you do not. Is Dad going to be at your office? Ford said, no, kiddo, Mom is going to handle it. But I am 15 minutes away by car, and I will be in my chambers all morning with my phone on. Elsie nodded once. She finished her cereal. She went to softball practice at 10. Ford drove her. I sat at the kitchen table and looked at the empty seat where Elsie had been. Monday night at 11:47 p.m., after Ford had gone to bed and Elsie had been asleep for 2 hours, my phone lit up on my nightstand. A Facebook message. From a Reese Astor. I don't know you. I don't know if you'll read this. Reed is coming to Kettering tomorrow. I don't know what he's planning. I thought you should know. I have a 5-year-old son. His name is Emmett. Last month I found a folder Reed had left in a home office drawer. I read what was in it. I know now what happened to you in that hospital room. I am not asking for anything. I just wanted a woman I have never met to have a warning before her Tuesday morning. If you never respond, I understand. I read the message 3 times. I did not respond. I set the phone face down on the nightstand. I turned off the light. I did not sleep. Tuesday morning, I was at my desk by 7:45. Nate arrived at Gail's office at 8:15 with a navy binder in a leather satchel. Gail had a cup of coffee waiting for him. Kim arrived at 8:30. I stopped at her desk on my way in. Kim, when he arrives, buzz me, then take 4 minutes to bring him coffee. Nate will be in Gail's office. He comes in behind you. Kim looked at me for a long moment. She had been the receptionist at Meridian Mutual for 22 years. She had watched me start as a claims adjuster in 2017. She had watched me pass my certification. She had watched me marry Ford. She had watched Elsie color at her desk on in-service days. Louisa, he is not the first bad man to walk through my door. He will not be the last. I have been waiting for this day too. I looked at her for a moment. Kim. Why? She did not answer me. She turned to her monitor. Reed arrived at 9:10. He was in a charcoal suit and a tie the color of blood. Reese was not with him. His mother, Gwendolyn Astor, was not with him. He said, Kim, is it? I'm Reed Astor. I'm here to see Louisa. I believe you're expecting me. Kim did not stand up. Mr. Astor, please have a seat. She'll be with you in 4 minutes. Reed sat on the leather bench across from her desk. He crossed his legs. He looked at his watch. He looked at the ceiling. He looked at the wall. Kim buzzed my office. I picked up the phone. That is where this story started. I sent him up. Kim brought the coffee. Nate followed her in with the binder. Reed was already sitting in the chair across from my desk when I opened the door. He stood up when I walked in. He extended his hand. I did not take it. Louisa, it has been a long time. Reed, please sit. He sat. He looked at the trophy on the corner of my desk. His eyes stopped. He read the engraving. He read it a second time. His face did the thing his mother's face does when she has been given a piece of information she does not know what to do with. Elsie Bell Whitmore. He said it flat. Yes, that is her name. When did you remarry? June of 2020. Who is Ford Whitmore? My husband. When did he legally adopt? October of 2020. Greene County Family Court. Public record. You can pull the docket from your phone right now if you would like. Reed did not pull his phone. He looked at Nate. He looked at the binder. He looked at Kim, who had set the coffee down on my desk and had not left the room. Louisa, I did not come here to be ambushed. Reed, you came here on a certified letter you had your attorney send to my workplace on Friday, demanding to be reintroduced to a daughter you have not seen in 8 years. That is what an ambush looks like. What you are in right now is a meeting. Nate opened the binder. Mr. Astor, my name is Nate Halberg. I have represented Louisa since 2016. I would like you to look at some documents. I want to give them to you in the order I hand them to you. Reed did not speak. Nate set the first document on the desk. That is Elsie Bell Whitmore's amended birth certificate, issued by the state of Ohio on October 22nd of 2020. The father of record is Ford Whitmore. The adoption is final. There is no legal path by which you can appear on that document again. Nate set the second document. That is the Greene County Family Court Adoption Order. The presiding judge is Judge Elena Rausch. She is retired now, but she remains subject to Ohio judicial ethics rules regarding testimony. If this matter goes to court, she will testify. Her ruling is not appealable at this stage. Nate set the third document. That is a certified copy of the incident report filed with Kettering General Risk Management by Nurse Deirdre Vance on the afternoon of September 24, 2017. It documents your presence in Miss Bell's recovery room and quotes the statement you made in front of your then-wife 6 hours after her emergency C-section. Miss Vance is now a nurse practitioner in Dayton. She has been prepared to testify since 2020. Reed did not touch the paper. Document 4. Nate slid a laptop across the desk. He opened the video player. He pressed play. Hazel Bell's face filled the screen. She was 88. She was in a gray cardigan. Her hands were folded on a walnut table in a conference room in Cleveland. Miles Landholt sat to her left with a legal pad. A camera on a tripod faced her. My name is Hazel Bell. Today is October 12, 2015. I am of sound mind and body. This declaration concerns the Bell Family Trust established by my late husband in 1961. I hereby specify that the residual specific purpose distribution shall flow to the biological children of my granddaughter Louisa Bell, who share the Bell family name at the time of my death or subsequent thereto by legal adoption or restoration to that name by court order. This declaration supersedes any conflicting instruction. Miles. Say it back to me for the record. Miles Landholt's voice, off camera, said, repeated for the record. Residual distribution to the biological children of Louisa Bell, who share the Bell name at the time of your death or subsequent thereto by legal adoption or restoration. Filmed and witnessed October 12, 2015, at 2:17 p.m. The video ran 47 seconds. Nate closed the laptop. Reed was looking at the wall behind me. Document 5. Nate set the divorce decree from November of 2017 on the desk. The pages were flagged in yellow. That is the final divorce decree you signed at the Montgomery County Courthouse on November 4th of 2017. Turn to page 11. That is the parental rights waiver. Your signature is at the bottom. Turn to page 12. Your initials are at the top. Page 13. Your initials. Page 14. Your signature again. Page 15. Your initials. Every acknowledgement is initialed. Every acknowledgement includes a statement that you understood and consented to full termination of your parental rights, including any claim to inheritance, financial support, or companionship. You signed each one, Mr. Astor, in front of a notary. On a Friday afternoon. 11 signatures total. Reed looked at page 11. He looked at page 12. He turned back to page 11. I do not remember signing this. I know you do not, Mr. Astor. That is why I have document 6. Nate slid a small photograph across the desk. It was time-stamped 3:41 p.m., November 4th, 2017. Reed was at a wooden desk in the courthouse hallway with a phone at his ear. His right hand held a pen. His signature was mid-stroke on a document labeled Acknowledgement 7 of 11. His face was turned toward the phone. He was mid-sentence to someone. The photograph was one of 11 Gail had taken that day. Nate slid the other 10 across. He fanned them out. In every one, Reed was on the phone. In every one, his face was in the wrong direction. In every one, his hand was signing. You were on the phone with Reese, Mr. Astor. You were arguing about a restaurant. Gail has the audio too. She recorded it under Ohio's one-party consent law from her position at the notary station. Every acknowledgement is corroborated with audio and photo. It is airtight. Reed put the photographs back on the desk. He looked at the binder. He looked at me. Louisa. You had this planned for 8 years. Reed. I did not have it planned. I had it prepared. Those are two different things. Reed stood up. His hands were on the back of the chair. He was gripping it hard enough that his knuckles were pale. I will file a petition. I will go to court. I will demand Dina. I will drag your daughter through a hearing. I will tell the court she was raised by a woman who kept her from her father. He was loud now, not shouting, louder than he had been at any point in the conversation. The volume of a man who has lost the room and is trying to take it back with sound. I have a 5-year-old son. Elsie has a half-brother. I have a right to family reunification. Ohio law allows it. Your husband is a judge. Your judge will not save you. I will make sure the story of this family gets told publicly. I will make sure the Cleveland papers pick it up. I will make sure your husband's docket is publicly reviewed. I will file. I let him finish. Then I said, quietly, Reed, your son's name is Emmett. He is 5 years old. He has never met his half-sister. If you file this petition, the court file will be public. Elsie will be able to read it when she is 13. Emmett will be able to read it when he is 18. Both of them will read the incident report from the hospital. Both of them will see the 11 photographs of you signing away your rights on the phone. Both of them will hear the audio. You are not choosing between hurting me and hurting Elsie, Reed. You are choosing between two of your own children. Ask yourself which of those two decisions you would rather explain. Reed did not respond. Nate slid the last document on the desk. Mr. Astor, that is a courtesy copy of a preemptive filing my office prepared this morning. If you file a 3109-11 petition, this motion for summary dismissal with prejudice will be filed with the Greene County Family Court within 24 hours. It cites Ohio Revised Code 3107-3, the finality of adoption. It cites your November 4th waiver. It cites your incident report. It requests attorney's fees under Ohio Civil Rule 11 for frivolous filing. If a judge grants it, you will owe Miss Bell's estate somewhere between $18,000 and $30,000 in fees, and the ruling will be a matter of public record. Reed picked up his jacket off the back of the chair. He walked to the door of my office. He turned. He looked at me. He said, in the flat voice he had used in the hospital room, "You and that little girl have not seen the last of me." He opened the door. He walked into the hallway. He walked past Nate. He walked to the elevator lobby. Kim was standing at the top of the stairs. She said, quietly, "Mr. Astor, may I have a word?" Reed stopped. Kim said, "My niece was in the recovery bed next to Miss Bell's on the night your daughter was born. She heard what you said. Her name is Deirdre Vance. She is my sister Rachel's daughter. She is the nurse who filed the incident report on the 3rd floor that afternoon. She has been prepared to testify since 2020. She has been waiting for a Tuesday morning when someone would need her to say it out loud. My last name, Mr. Astor, is Vance. I have been receptionist at this desk for 22 years. I have known you were coming since the day my niece called me from her shift break in September of 2017. Reed did not answer. Kim watched him walk to the elevator. She watched the doors close. Then she came back to her desk. Gwendolyn Astor arrived at 10:47. She walked into the reception area carrying a vintage crocodile skin handbag, oxblood color, with a small gold nameplate that read GA. She set it on the reception counter. She was 66 years old. Her cheeks were sunken. She had lost weight since I had last seen her in the summer of 2017. "Kim, I would like to see my former daughter-in-law." Kim buzzed my office. I said send her up. Gwendolyn sat down in the chair Reed had been in. She did not look at the binder. She did not look at the trophy. "Louisa, I know Reed has already come and gone. I sent him ahead this morning without me because I did not think you would see me if I arrived with him. I wanted to speak with you alone." "Gwendolyn, I have pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. I was diagnosed in June. I have between 3 and 8 months. I wanted to meet my granddaughter before I go. I know I have no right to ask. I know what Reed did. I have known for a year. I have known since Reese found the folder in his home office. Reese called me in July from her mother's house in Chicago. She read me the incident report over the phone. I have not slept a night through since. I sat with that for one long breath. "Gwendolyn, I am sorry about your diagnosis. I am not going to introduce you to my daughter. Not because I want to hurt you. Because Elsie is 8 years old, and she does not owe her afternoon to a woman she has never met. If she asks me about you when she is older, I will tell her you asked to meet her. I will tell her I said no because I did not think you had earned it. I will tell her the choice, when she is old enough to make it, will be hers." Gwendolyn nodded. She stood up slowly. She reached for the crocodile handbag on the reception counter side of the desk. She looked at it. Her hand shook. She could not lift it. She put her hand flat on the counter beside it. Louisa, would you have Kim send it to me at my hotel this afternoon? I am at the Hilton downtown. I will. She walked out. Kim had the handbag couriered to the Hilton by 2 p.m. I closed the binder at 11:14. I did not open it again for the rest of the day. Ford called me at 11:20. He had been in chambers. He had not been on the docket at all. He had cleared his morning at 7 a.m. from home without telling me so that he could be reachable if I needed him. Louisa, how, Ford, it went the way it needed to go. Are you coming home tonight? Yes, Elsie wrote you a note last night. I found it under her pillow this morning. I brought it to court in my briefcase. I will give it to you at dinner. Ford. Yes, he said your daughter, at one point. He said the word your. Ford did not answer for a long moment. Then, he learned. That is what mattered. That night at dinner, Elsie handed me a folded piece of notebook paper. Her handwriting. 3 sentences. Mom, I heard you say the man from before is coming. I want you to know Dad Ford is my dad. I am not scared. I love you. I read it once at the dinner table. I read it a second time in the car after I drove to my Meridian Mutual office at 10 p.m. to pick up a coat I had left. I read it a third time in bed at 11 p.m. next to Ford. I did not read it aloud in the office to Reed. I did not read it aloud to Nate. I did not read it to Gwendolyn. I read it 3 times to myself, and then I put it in my wallet, in a small pocket behind the photograph of Elsie on her first day of 2nd grade. Here is what happened after. Reed filed the 3109.11 petition on Thursday of that week from his Cleveland attorney's office, ignoring Nate's warning. The Greene County Family Court dismissed it under Ohio Civil Rule 12 on Friday morning. Reed was ordered to pay attorney's fees of $18,400 to Nate's firm and an additional $2,000 in court costs. The ruling was published in the Greene County Law Journal that Sunday. Reed separated from Reese in February. Reese filed for divorce in April. She sent me a note in May. I did not know what he did to you. I know now. I would like my son to know his half-sister when he is older. If you say no, I understand. I answered, when she is ready. I will be in touch. Reed's Cleveland firm cut him from associate ranks in March. He took a position at a smaller advisory firm in Columbus. His salary dropped by half. He now works out of a rented office space that shares a printer with a chiropractor. Gwendolyn Astor died on April 11th of the following year. Reed did not tell me. I read the obituary in the Cleveland Plain Dealer online. I sent a small floral arrangement addressed to the grandchildren of Gwendolyn Astor, plural, without naming any of them. Reese's son Emmett was 5. Elsie was 9. The florist confirmed delivery to the funeral home. Marlon Bell drove from Springfield to Kettering on the Wednesday after Reed's visit. He carried the framed Cleveland Browns tailgate photograph from his mantel. He set it face down on my kitchen table between us. He did not turn it over. He did not need to. He said, Louisa, I introduced him to you at that Browns game. I have carried it for 8 years. I am not asking you to forgive me. I am telling you I know. I stood up. I walked around the table. I put my arms around him for the first time in 9 years. He came to Elsie's fall softball game the following Saturday. Colby came too. My brother wore a Browns hat. My father did not. Marlon left the framed photograph on my kitchen table when he went home. I put it in a drawer in the living room. I have not taken it out. Aunt Susan moved to Fort Myers in November. She has not sent Christmas cards since. The Bell Family Trust distributed its scheduled 4th installment in October, 1 week after Reed's Tuesday morning visit. The amount was $72,000. Nate coordinated the deposit into Elsie's UTMA account. He also facilitated the endowment of the Hazel Bell Scholarship for first-generation college-bound girls at Kettering High School, funded at $250,000, awarded annually beginning the following June. The first recipient was a girl named Marisol, whose mother was a home health aide at Kettering General. Marisol wrote me a note in July. I keep it in the top drawer of my desk with the letter my father did not send and the note Elsie wrote before Tuesday morning. Ford Whitmore was profiled in the Dayton Daily News in December as one of the youngest juvenile court judges in Montgomery County. The reporter asked him about his family. Ford said, "I have a daughter. Her name is Elsie. She is the best person I know. I was promoted to Director of Claims Investigations at Meridian Mutual in January. My new office has 3 windows. The softball trophy came with me, so did the Navy binder. It is in the bottom drawer of my new desk. I have not opened it again." Kim retires next fall. She has told me that when she goes, she wants Elsie to have her nameplate from the reception desk. She has never met Elsie. She has been waiting to meet her for 8 years. I want to say one thing before I go. For 8 years my ex-husband kept a version of my story in his head in which I was the woman he had left behind. In which my daughter was a dead end. In which he had walked out of a room and the room had stayed behind him, waiting. He came back to that room on a Tuesday morning in September expecting to find it as he had left it. The room had not stayed. The room had been rebuilt. Furniture had been moved. Documents had been filed. Photographs had been taken. Nurses had written incident reports. Grandmothers had made videos. Attorneys had photographed acknowledgments. Receptionists had kept nameplates. Judges had adopted daughters. Small towns had held paper. He was not a dead end to me. I had walked around him 8 years ago. A dead end is a place you walk into. It is not a person you walk out of. If you have ever walked around a man who told you your life had ended when he left, comment "not your daughter" below. Share this with the one person who has been holding your paper for you. Subscribe to Calm Life Stories. The softball trophy is on the corner of my desk. Elsie plays first base again in the spring. That is the whole answer.